Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. Thank you for attending today's webinar. Before we begin, I'd like to cover just a few items regarding this webinar platform. At the bottom of your screen, you'll notice a handful of widgets, mainly the Q&A widget, which you can utilize to submit any questions you have throughout today's webinar session. For viewing purposes, you can also expand your viewing window by clicking on the icon found on the top right corner of the slide viewer. If you have any technical difficulties, please click on the Help widget. And lastly, do take a moment to fill out the survey at the end of the webinar. At this time, I'll turn it over to our presenter.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for joining today's presentation on ALPR, Simply Deployed and Receiving Data Within 60 Minutes. I am Sandeep Sinha with Insight Public Sector, and I've got partner Genetec, Larry Legier, who will introduce himself later on this conversation. Together, we are bringing this solution to you to deploy ALPR solutions as a SaaS service. Before I get into more details around ALPR and what Genetec and we are bringing together, I just wanted to bring to your attention about Insight. Insight is a Fortune 500 company. We are we are almost 30-plus-year-old company with a significant number of partnership and a lot of delivery, sales and delivery person, approximately over 7,500 people who are sales and delivery professionals, and then engage into workforce. We have about 11,000 plus people who work at the company. So we have all the right resources for to work with you, to help you, especially in our public sector team, where we also have contracts around U.S. communities contract that allows you to purchase all this solution in a much easier way. And the second, I wanted to just introduce you to Insight as a company. Some of you may know us as basically a distributor where you require software and different technology component, you call upon us. But over the last 10 years, we have actually increased our services business with focus around digital innovation, which is about building application to support your needs, whether you're looking at needs around cloud application, web application, mobile application. We provide all the support in terms of data, in terms of AI, in terms of cloud. Then we have a cloud and data transformation team that focuses around building both public and private cloud, networking, security, all these components as part of these services. So if you're looking for providing anything around security, networking, our team can help there. Then the last I want to briefly talk about is a connected workforce team. This is our team that basically allows you to deploy these technologies smarter, whether it's in your workforce, or in your community, or across the country. So, for example, if you want to deploy your cameras or your any other hardware devices in your car, our team can work with your team to make this deployment easier for you. So Insight overall, as you know, we have a tremendous capability in terms of providing you software and hardware products, but also in the last 10 years, we built all these managed services in terms of creating all the customer experiences that we offer. So if you're looking for anything around data, AI, and cloud, we are really happy to work with you. That was my brief introduction to Insight. We will be on this presentation and work with you and provide you any response to your questions that you need. I wanted to invite my colleague from Genetec, Larry, to talk more about what we are doing with the Genetec and also what we are doing in ALPR space. Larry?
Sure. My name is Larry Legier. I'm the Director of Sales for AutoView as part of a Genetec business unit. And we're excited to have this partnership and a strategic relationship with Insight, and especially on this new offering. So Genetec, founded in 1997, Montreal. There are over 1,400 people. We're a global provider. And the big thing for us is a unified world-class unified solution in IP. a leader in global vendor of video management, and our technology focuses on public safety systems and workflows. From an ALPR perspective, it's a growing market. It's a $1.4 billion market by 2023. It has a CAGR of 12.8%. More than half of that, both growth and revenue by 2023, comes out of Europe and America and the US. And it's an interesting part is that 76% of all LPR is actually purchased by government agencies, whether that's state, local, federal. It could be for tolling, for parking applications, for, in this case, for law enforcement or investigation purposes. But it's interesting that 76% of LPR is purchased by the government. So from our perspective, we want to start to talk about the outcome, not just the product itself, but what is the outcome that we want to see from this product or this solution. And from our perspective, it's all about enhancing investigations. So we want to collect data, whether that be license plates, vehicle type, color, state. All this type of data helps law enforcement do a better investigation. And if we do a better investigation, or we have more data, we can then leverage this data against national or state databases in real time, allowing officers to solve crimes faster. And if you solve more crimes, the ending result is you reduce long-term crime. So with more crimes you can solve faster, the overall crime rate drops within the community. And from our perspective, it's about this outcome. So we want to enhance investigations, aid in solving more crimes, with an ultimate goal in reducing the crime rate. So how are we going to do that? So we developed a robust solution, starting with a state-of-the-art technology to provide this investigation data. We actually built some unique equipment. We didn't go out and start from scratch. We actually used what we had from a unique standpoint. It's a purpose-built camera, but we re-engineered it to reduce the installation time, because as we heard in the industry, this is a key component. We want to be able to put something up quick and easy and be up and running very fast. We also wanted to eliminate some of the other problems in the market, which is we didn't want to worry about warranties, both on hardware, equipment, tech support. All of the above is all included in the price. So when you buy the equipment, it's included. Whether it's hit by lightning or not, we'll actually cover it. We won't actually cover if somebody beats it with a baseball bat. But from a technical perspective, if the camera's not working, whether for any reason, we will actually return, repair it, take care of it, other than the fact of vandalism. An interesting byproduct of that is, from a budgeting perspective, you do not get any unexpected bills. The fee that you pay for the year is the fee you pay for the year. It's not a situation that somebody comes to you at some point and says, oh, the camera doesn't work, or oh, you need an upgrade, and that's an additional X dollars. It allows you to budget for a fixed cost, and you'll get a service for that cost. It also avoids technology obsolescence. So the idea is that as we move forward, as technology changes, a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, if there's a situation where the software and the firmware that are being put into the camera, or the outcome that you're getting from that camera is not the outcome that you expected or we expect to provide, we will actually replace that camera as part of the overall service provider solution. In the end, the idea is to reduce capital expenditure with an as-service pricing. So this is all freeing up cash flow. So it's all about the outcome and not owning the equipment. So one of the ways, or a couple of ways that we did that, was we minimized to no site survey. So we've been able to change our game plan that if there is a survey that needs to be done for determining lenses, we can actually do it on site. We've also developed a camera that has a variable focal in it. So we have a short standard camera up to 60 feet, or a long range camera up to 100. So it's very easy for us to determine whether it's going to be a standard range deployment or a long range deployment. From an equipment configuration standpoint, it's all plug and play. It's already pre-configured at the factory, tied into a hosted cloud architecture, so when it comes out of the box, it is already ready to install. The whole idea was to have this be able to install in 60 minutes or less. So I always like to tell a little story here because I think it's, anecdotally, it actually helps. So when we designed this, again, our old goal was 60 minutes or less, but it wasn't just 60 minutes or less for somebody who was certified, trained, installed these every day. It was for somebody who really didn't know or see an LPR. So one of our first installations as we started to pilot this product about 10 weeks ago was we sent it to a city that, through an integrator that's installed over 100 units over the last 5 years. And it took that installer who, again, certified, trained, over 100 installations, about 40 minutes to install it. At the same time, we sent a camera to the city of Napa out in California, and this was installed by somebody that actually did their maintenance and support within the city. They had never seen an LPR camera before, including ours, of course, and they were able to install this camera, and it was in 42 minutes. So somebody that was trained, installed over 100 cameras was 40 minutes. Somebody who's never seen it before was 42 minutes, which to us is a great example of our overall goal was 60 minutes. But people say, well, how did you get there? So from our perspective, we built a unit that included the camera, the bracket, the main assembly. Okay, guys, somebody keeps changing slides.
Oh, sorry. Do you need to go on the slide?
I'm here. Is this what's being pushed to the audience or not?
Yeah, this is live views. This slide is to audience.
And this is the picture of the main assembly?
Yes, everything is included.
Okay. So everything is included. Great. So this is the camera, the bracket, the main assembly, the enclosure, the PoE router, and the modem. So the way we did this was the idea was that we could build something that could come out of the box. Other than the camera being actually mounted on the bracket, it was all included. So how do we do this? So when it comes out of the box, the only thing somebody needs to do is install the camera, which it takes 2 bolts at the top bracket that's already there. At that point, there's already a cable attached to the housing into the bracket. It just needs to be plugged into the back of the camera, and it's turned an eighth turn till it clicks. There's no wrenches needed. We don't want you to use a wrench to over tighten it. It actually just plugs in, twists 1/8 turn, and the cable's connected. You can then go up the pole, if there's a pole, and you actually mount a bracket. And this was key to us, because trying to carry this whole assembly up the pole and hold it there and mount it and put the strapping on would be too difficult. So the way we designed it, so you actually go up, you actually mount this small bracket. It goes around the pole. However, if you do have a wall mount, maybe a little difficult to see in the image, but there's 2 arrows. There are 2 tabs on the top, and there's 2 tabs on the bottom. And basically, so you can mount this on a wall also. But you go up, going back to a pole, you'd go up the pole, you would mount the bracket, strap it to the pole. There are 2 bolts that are procured from the bracket. And now at this point, you would actually carry the camera up. You can carry it using the bracket itself as a handle. You slide it between the 2 bolts at the neck of the bracket, and then you lower it. And it actually automatically centers itself between the 2 bolts. You now tighten the 2 bolts. You have the top of the camera mounted now.
Larry, are you on slide 12 or 11?
Sorry, I'm now on 13.
Okay, so that's not going to live.
It's not. Oh, my thing says 13 is live.
Okay, then you're fine.
Okay, but now I lost. Okay, sorry. I'm hoping now that I'm showing slide 13.
You are on slide 13.
Yeah, thank you. Secure the main. So now after you install, you mounted the top, you would mount the bottom, which is the main assembly of the bottom. So basically at this point, again, you would mount it to the strap, or as you can see, there's also 2 feet at the bottom of this bracket too. So for that wall mount perspective. But once the bottom is mounted, you can actually then put the power cable through the bottom grommet, and internally you throw the wire the 3 wires to the thing. At that point, you have a mounted, powered camera. Once the camera is mounted and powered, you actually go to the back of the camera. There's a sticker on the back of the camera. You basically grab the PC name. There's also an Allen screwdriver included. And then you give us a call. We created a special 800 number, or an 888 number. You can tell my age. I'm always used to 800 numbers. An 888 number, and you call us. At that point, there's a Genetec team on the other side of the call. This number is specifically designed for this application. It's not our standard tech support line. It is actually a line that is designed to calibrate, zoom, and focus. So at this point, the person would remote into the camera, and they would tell you to tilt up, tilt down, tilt left, or move left, pan right, or left. And then, again, using the screwdriver that's provided, there's a couple pods at the bottom of the camera. They'll tell you to turn them clockwise or counterclockwise, and that will actually do the zoom and focus. So at that point, you have a mounted, calibrated camera that's actually reading license plates. So we offer this in 2 forms. One of them is providing the data. We provide it all. So we'll provide the camera that's seen on the left side with the power, and then you connect to the power, the communications internally between the cloud, and then from the cloud down to the connectors will be there. And if somebody has a local system, from a Genetec standpoint, we can also what we call federate. So we would go to the cloud architecture and then federate to the local premise. And then from there, you could actually see whether it's a security center web client or a security desk thick client, you can see all the reads there. And that, like I said, design is with us providing the cellular communication. The next option is that if a city or a customer says, hey, you know, I actually already have the capability of providing Ethernet or fiber, or I actually have a contract already with a provider for the city or their company to provide data, we can actually purchase this unit as a service without the data, and somebody can provide their own Ethernet, fiber, or, as I said, their own SIM card. However, the architecture is still the same. It would go from the camera through the fiber or Ethernet or customer's wireless into our cloud architecture, then directly down to either a security center desk application or a web client, or you have the option, at the same option, to federate it to an on-premise Genetec system. So what do you get then with the, from an outcome and from an investigative standpoint? So what I would consider our standard type reporting, which would be read reports, hit reports, hot list management capability, email notification on hits. Some of the things a little bit more specialized would be a multi-region report or a stakeout vehicle report. And just to give an idea on a stakeout vehicle report, we actually have a report that allows you to determine if there's a particular vehicle that has been circulating the vehicle, the premise, or in a certain area, or over a certain amount of times, within a certain period of days or hours, we could do that. And the multi-region, just to give an aspect, is if there was an incident in multiple different regions, we can actually run a report and say, was there any vehicles within these 2 different regions or 3 different regions within a certain period of time of an incident? We can also then push this all to a web client. And from an analytics standpoint, we can do vehicle type, color, speed detection, state recognition, or direction of travel. From a pricing, we wanted to make it easy. So there's 2 options. As I said earlier, it includes everything we talked about. So the one on the left is everything, the camera, the mount, the housing, the specialized bracket. It includes the hosting fee and the cellular data. So $25.95 a year gets you everything up and running, including the warranties, upgrades, all of it. And the one on the right pretty much does the exact same thing, except it has no cellular data. So it's $22.95, and you need to provide your own cellular data. And I just noticed that there was a mistake there, but that's okay. The reality of the one on the right is no cellular data. So we wanted to make this easy too. So we have a try to buy program. So you can experience the power and the performance of the Genetec ALPR solution for 30 days. So you can get a camera, install it, use it for 30 days. At the end of 30 days, there's no obligation to buy it. However, if you do want to keep it, you can keep it, and we'll start billing you. We'll bill you the annual fee, or you can return it. It's up to you. So there's a no obligation try to buy program, so you can see the power of the product without any concern that it's going to cost you, other than you need to have power at the location. Any questions? So Darren, at this point we're done. I don't know if there's any questions in the window. Sandeep, I also did you want to add any call to action here that or from a standpoint of if they do want to do a try to buy, some information?
Yeah, thanks, Larry. For all our viewers, if you are interested in purchasing this or even just willing to try this particular solution, please reach out to your account representative or send me an email, and we can actually sign you up for trying to try to buy program. It can be, my email is always available on this presentation. Otherwise, you can also reach out to your own account executives to help you.
Darren, were there any questions in the chat?
There are no questions at the moment in the Q&A session. We'll give it a few more minutes in case anyone has any follow-up questions that we can answer for them. I'm still not seeing any questions come in.
So we should probably wrap it up.
Sure, and as Sandeep mentioned, anyone that has any follow-up questions after the session is over, feel free to reach out to him in the email form or to your representatives that sent the invitation.
Sandeep, anything else?
You.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, thank you guys. That concludes today's webinar. A big thank you to the presentation team today and to the attendees. Thank you for your time and opportunity to come together. With that, we'll turn you back to your day. Thank you.